Time 89 here, and welcome to my first cooking video. Nah, not really cooking. Back growing up, I used to make something called puppy chow, which if a lot of people back then really didn't know what it is, and a lot of people right now won't even recognize the name puppy chow, because I guess these days they call it muddy buddies, but back in the day growing up we called it puppy chow, and that's what I still call it. Anyways, so you can make it a million different ways. I think the best way is your own way, which means is kind of, you can go off that, but I don't know, personally I think you kind of make it how you like it. So what I do is, this is what I need: spoon, 2 boxes of Chex because I'm making a lot, 10x sugar powder, whatever you want to call, creamy peanut butter, and milk chocolate chips, a thing of water, which you'll see why I use that, and the famous kettle, and of course you need an oven. And do not set it on high. When I was a kid growing up, I would always make the mistake and always burn the chocolate and peanut butter, because I would always set it on high because I want it done quick. But best thing to do is start it at low, let it heat up a little bit, and I don't know, I guess I just put in whatever amount I feel like putting in, and it always comes out right. But pretty much what you do, dump chocolate chips in the kettle over there, peanut butter, dump it in the kettle, slowly heat it up until it all both melts. Whatever quantity you want to put in, that's up to you. I'm probably going to use most of this, all the chocolate chips, because of using 2 boxes. But anyways, and then once it all melts, dump in the Chex, turn the stove off, and then once you dump in the Chex, you mix it up, and then you put in the 10x powder, 10x sugar, and mix that too, and there you go. So what I use the water for is when I put the chocolate chips in and also the peanut butter in, I dump just a little bit of water in with it. That way it doesn't start from the start, doesn't burn the chocolate chips or peanut butter from the start. So it kind of helps it to keep it from burning if you do have the stove a little too hot. Anyways, I'll show you after I'm all finished. Wenger Time 89, welcome to part 2 of making puppy chow. This is how much I use from the new thing of peanut butter, that size peanut butter, and definitely creamy is the best to use when you're doing this. That's how much chocolate chips I used. I might even add more, it all depends. And another thing I wanted to say is that also a couple years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, they started selling the Muddy Buddies in stores. So if you've ever seen them in stores, when you make it homemade, it is 1,000 times better than the ones in store. You'll notice when you make it homemade that it's a little more, I'd say, stickier, because you're using real peanut butter than the ones in store, and that's why I think it's a lot better. Anyways, this is what it sort of looks like. It's not melted yet, so I've had it on that for about 3 minutes. Time to set it up to getting close to medium. I never go on medium. It's probably about, let's see, it's about as close to medium as I will probably get, and I'll just let it melt from there on. But what I like to do is, when it completely melts, I normally dip my finger in and taste it to see like the chocolate versus peanut butter ratio. And I see, like, cause depends, like if you want it really peanut buttery, and heck, put more peanut butter in, or the other way around. So you always just want to test it before, just to see how it tastes. Because some people don't like much chocolate, some people like more chocolate than peanut butter. Me, I just randomly just don't really care. If it tastes good, it tastes good. So anyways, that is part 2 of making puppy chow, and my next video probably will be when it's done. Thanks for watching. Wenger Time 89, part 3 of making puppy chow. And this is the final product. I think it turned out amazing. Really, really good. Now, as you can see, these pans that I use, this is what I use when you're using 2 boxes. I use these foil pans. Anyway, so one thing I want to say, as soon as you're done with the kettle, turn hot water on and fill it up with hot water, because once the chocolate and peanut butter dry, it's a mess to re-clean it. So I normally just clean it as soon as I'm done. So I keep the hot water running to keep it easy to remove. As you can see, it just comes right off. So it saves a big mess later. Definitely always want to have a towel around. Now what I do is, after the chocolate's all melted in there, I put the checks into this thing, and then I scoop out all the chocolate and peanut butter and put it on top of the checks. And how I do it is probably the only way. Well, I'm the only person who ever does it, but I make sure my hands are clean, wash my hands, and then I mix it by hand, which I feel is a lot better. It doesn't cause as big as a mess, because if you use like just a spoon or something just to stir it and stuff, you can fling it everywhere. So I use my hand. It seems like it gets it done quicker, and you can get it mixed better so that every single check's got something on it. And then what I do after I mix it, then I wash my hands, and then I dump 10x powder in, which for 2 boxes, that's how much I used. If you look in the first video, you can see the difference, but I used half decent amount. And thing with 10x sugar, it's hard to judge like how much you're gonna need or use. So normally you always tend to use more than you really need to. But so what I do is, instead of using so much, and then when you start eating it and when you get to the bottom, there's like all this sugar on top of like one layer of checks, I dump the checks and all the mixture, whatever. After it's mixed, I dump the checks into a new one of these foil things, and that would be the original one that I used. And that way you can see all that extra. I don't know, if you love that, then you can just use one, but I hate when I get too much 10x powder. So this was the original one that I was mixing it in, and this is what I dumped it in. So that is my puppy chow made by Wenger Time 89. Thank you for joining me for Scott's Kitchen. I'm the most famous chef around. Tell your friends. Now, I don't know how to cook, but one thing I do know how to make is puppy chow, and microwavable stuff, and soup, and store-bought lasagna that all I gotta do is put it in for 45 minutes. You know, all that fun stuff. Anyways, if you like the video, post a video, let me know how you make it, or comment, say, or whatever. Also, if you found this video, these 3 videos, I believe it was, part 1, 2, and 3, if you found these videos entertaining, I'll be happy to make more of me making stuff. Can't promise you that it's gonna turn out good, but at least I'll try it. Alright, thanks for watching. Later. Hey guys, Scott here. So, this is what I call my Puppy Chow cereal. No, you don't use Chex Mix, but you use the same ingredients on Honey Nut Cheerios or any other Cheerios you want to use. It makes amazing cereal. Tastes really good. Very unhealthy. I mean, extremely unhealthy cereal. Or eat it as a snack. Or mix it with the pretzel bowl and mix pretzels in it too. Whatever you want to do. What I want to do right now is eat.